all black men, but a lot of black men, I need you to go get educated. If you have a GED or you have your high school diploma, go enroll into a 2-year college. If you don't even have your GED, go finish out and go get that GED. If you already have some college, go finish out that associate's degree or finish out that bachelor's degree, but go to college. Go take out that damn loan and go get you a good education.
All right, so the first thing black men need to do is stop listening to black women trying to tell black men what they need to do in terms of improving their lives, right? Because the last thing she talks about, getting a student loan to get an education, that's probably one of the dumbest things you could do right now, right? I think everybody sees that, right? Because you got a lot of women that are, complaining that they got too much student debt and out here begging Joe Biden and the Democrats to cancel their student loans because they can't afford life right now, right? And now you want guys to follow that same path. It makes no sense, right? Because we all know that when it comes to when it comes to student debt, women own what, 2/3 of the student debt, which is why they're fighting so hard to cancel them. And you want men to follow that same path. That makes absolutely no sense, right? Men are like, and you see why less men are going to college, because I think men are up on the game. They're like, you know what? This whole going to college and get a degree, it doesn't work, right? It's obvious that it doesn't work, right? You see so many people crying on social media how, oh my gosh, they got all these degrees and it's still hard for them to find a job. Well, of course, it's still difficult for you to find a job because you're competing with so many other people that got jobs. Like if you're an employer, right, you got a whole bunch of people with degrees fighting for this one job, and you wonder why you can't find a job because it's overrated. These degrees are overrated. Back in the days when, a lot of people didn't have degrees, it was valuable. But now it's so easy to get a degree. Everyone has it. It has less value. That's why you see a lot more companies are not even using, are requiring degrees in order to get the job, because they're overrated. So the fact that you're telling people not to get a degree, but to get a student loan to get that degree is the dumbest thing that anybody should do. Nobody, guys have gotten to a point where they say, nah, this isn't working. Okay, all right, it's clear, and to hear her say that is just like, yo, don't listen to this advice. Like it's dumb advice.
Knowledge is power, and it is very, very important. The two classes that they hate the most is 1, the poor, and 2, the educated. But they hate the educated the most. And what's crazy is that people always wonder why China has been super successful and they've been here for dynasties. Go look at the Han Dynasty, the Qin Dynasty, and go look at the revolution from 1968 to like 1976. They got rid of the educated. That was always the goal. Now, there are a lot of black educated men, and I need those black educated men to sit up here and come onto the internet and bring out awareness that black men need to be educated. I was having a conversation with my father, and we were talking about trades, because I was saying that it was very interesting on how many black men go into trading instead, because, they say that's where the money is at. Now, on the contrary, yes, that's where a lot of the good money is at, but at the end of the day, that also requires you to not have an education or a degree.
You do know there's many ways to get an education, right? Education is not always the path of institutions, right? There's many ways to get an education. Even if you get a trade, that's education. Reading books is an education, all right? Even getting a job and developing skills, this is all education. You don't have to go to a college institution in order to get educated. And this is the thought process for a lot of these people. Now, in order to educate, you have this idea that, in order to educate, you have to go to a 4-year institution, right? That seems like the only way you could be successful in life. Even for me, right? Like I went to college, right? If I could go do it again, I wouldn't do it. Like the best thing out of college was like I met some really good people, right? People that I'm friends with to this day. But other than that, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't do that. If I could, right out of high school, I would work. I would work, develop skills, and then start investing, right? Because like if you want to be successful, right? If you want to be successful in life, this is all you need to do. First thing, go make some money, right? Whatever it is, go make some money. Whatever it is you got to do when you get out of high school, go make some money, okay? And then after that, develop some skills so you can then make more money, right? As you work, develop the skills so you can make more money. Stay out of debt. Stay out of debt, right? If you can stay out of debt, you're going to find that your money accumulates much faster, right? Instead of having to give that money to somebody else, you'll help build your money and do that, right? Stay out of debt, okay? Then figure out how to take that money that you're earning and figure out how to multiply it through investments, whether investing in real estate, through businesses, through stocks, right? Learn how to multiply your money. And of course, continue to always educate yourself through reading books, whether it's through audiobooks or actual physical books, right? Or you want to go through training skills, whatever you got to do. These are the things. If you do that, you'll be fine, right? Going to school and getting an education and accumulating tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt is just one of the dumbest things to do right now. Like, people are seeing that, they see that it doesn't work, and many people are avoiding it. I don't know why. You still have a lot of people, like females, still going to these institutions because they feel that's the only way they could actually be successful in life. But men in particular more men are running away from college because they don't see that as a path to success. So obviously, anyone telling you that go get an education, go to school, take out a student loan to go get educated is clearly not good advice.
Well, my father brought to me, and he has a behavioral science degree and also a sociology degree, and it's very interesting, and he was explaining the dynamics, and he was saying at the end of the day, they're always going to propagandize trading with black men because that is what will keep them away from having any type of interest on the education and on the political standpoint, and heavily on the political standpoint. Everybody talks about how they want change. Go get those loans and go get that education. And the more people continuously start doing, because what they want to do is get rid of schools. That's what they want to do.
I don't think she really understands that, like, this whole push to go get educated, it's a trap, right? It's to keep you indebted, right? The more debt that they put on you, the more you're forced to have to go and work these jobs that you don't want to work. Okay, you stay away from these loans. You stay away from student loans on all this debt, right? It allows you more freedom, and that's why you see a lot of these people, right? They have all these debt. Now they're a slave to the system, right? They're a slave. The government keeps them under control. They gotta work. They gotta constantly work to feed their family, and they get taxed, right? Because they have so much debt. You stay away from the debt, you have more freedom to do the things that you want in life, right? And you don't have to be stuck working at these jobs and being at places that you don't want to be. Okay, so this advice where she says, "Oh, that's what they want. They don't want you educated." There's many ways to educate yourself, right? And of course, when the government is pushing all this whole education, go get an education at the institutions, get the student debt. That in itself is a trap, because they want you indebted to them, right? Where you owe the government, you owe the government for life, for the rest of your life. That's what they want. So you always have to work these jobs that you don't want, and they always taxing you. Right? So I think a lot of people are seeing that, and they say, you know what? If I can just reduce the debt, make sure I don't have debt, then I'm not a slave to the system. And that's what she should be talking about. But clearly, telling you to get a student loan, getting student debt is the wrong advice. She might be just BSing. Maybe she's just trying to set people up, because this is horrible, terrible advice.
That's why they're getting rid of the whole DEI funding. HBCU colleges are going through it a lot. Go get that education and go stop the bullshit that is going on systematically. Black women are always going to get their education. And I'm not saying black men aren't going to get their education, because there are a lot of black men that are getting their education, but we need more black men. A lot more black men. Regardless of what your situation may look like, have looked like, a lot of unfortunate circumstances have happened to you, but you are not the only person. At some point, you have to take accountability for your actions, and at some point, you are going to want to take those steps forwards to bettering out, one, our country, and two, bettering out yourself. Go get that education. Go get that GED. Go get that associates. Go get that bachelor's. Go get that master's. Hell, go get that damn doctorate if you were up to it. Go get that fucking education, because at the end of the day, that is what they hate most, is educated black people. Go get that education.
Yeah, first of all, I don't know who they is. I don't know who they you talking about. Like, I'm not worried about they. I'm worried about me. That's what I worry about. So you want to go with this whole they stuff? Like, I ain't worried about they. I'm worried about what I have to do. And I just found it, entertaining that you got a woman talking about accountability, because we all know that many of these women are just allergic to accountability. So, man, don't listen to his advice. This is just terrible advice. Go into the trades, man. Trades are very important. You want to protect yourself with AI, especially with AI. They're taking over a lot of jobs. These trades, as right now, it's hard for AI to take over any of these type of jobs. Make sure you learn how to work with your hands, right? Because that's something that no machine can ever take away from you. Always constantly educate yourself by reading books. That's something that's a very cheap way to educate yourself. Always, right? You should never stop doing that. And don't worry about having to go get that degree, because these degrees are worthless, right? Everyone has it, and they don't mean much anymore outside of the STEM. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below with the like button, share. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. But guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.